Got a chance to see the new Blumhouse movie, Woman in the Yard. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're jumping back into a feature in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to that. It's been the pre-production so far has been monopolizing my time, but I was able to hit the movies a couple of times between last Thursday and today. With, of course, some independent films. As you know, I try to hit as many independent films as possible. In fact, there's a movie called Ash that has Isaac Gonzalez in it and Aaron Paul. I didn't even heard of it. It's about to go out of the theater, so I might try to get in there this week sometime before pre-production really starts to hit home. Also remember, too, that I am a writer as well, so if you want to check out anything that I've written in the past, you can go to Amazon.com. Just type my name, Frank Zanka, into Amazon.com, and you will see my sci-fi quadrilogy, Destiny Aurora. That's also on Audible. The first book's on Audible. They're all on Kindle as well. There's also hard copies. And on top of that, it was made into a board game, an RPG, and a graphic novel. And then my fantasy book, Tales of Ravenor, The Iron Witch. And there's also a horror book on there called The Awakening, stuff like that. And I'm working on a new book called Battle with the Ruby Slippers, and I'm also working on a new comic that I'm going to be launching on Kickstarter probably in a couple of months called Fairy Tales of Terror, and the artwork on there is looking really, really good. All right, so let's jump into Woman in the Yard. So I like these little horror thrillers. For the most part, I like Blumhouse. It's hit and miss. So this is directed by... I don't know, I'm going to butcher this name. Jaume, Colette Serra, and he is from Barcelona, so he is straight Spanish. So when I say he's Spanish, I mean straight Spanish. So this guy he has a lot, he's got his own style. So he's got a style here that really works for this film. He is one of the positives of this film, because I'm going to get into the writing, but the writing was not the best. So he's directed quite a bit even lately. He did Carry On, which I know a lot of people liked. He did Reverie. He did The Commuter. He did The Shallows. So he's done quite a bit. That's on the producing side because he's a producer-director. So he's also done, he did Black Adam, see what I'm saying? And he did Jungle Cruise, so he's connected to The Rock. He did Run All Night. He did Nonstop. He did Orphan. So there's the original one of the first things he did was House of Wax back in the early 2000s. So he's definitely, not a newbie for certain. But again, his stuff is very hit and miss. None of my negatives are in the directing side. I think that he did a really good job on the directing. A lot of the camera angles, a lot of what they did with the shadows, and all that stuff really, really worked. And also, as far as the cast is concerned, the cast is made up of literally five people. That's it. The entire movie is 5 people. So this was made to be low budget. I'm surprised because normally Jason Blum cuts his budgets off at $10 million. That's it. Because, there's... people were saying, some of the movies didn't do well. But you have to keep in mind of what the budgets are and what the marketing was. Now, there was very, very little marketing with this movie. And also, people were making fun of Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd because their movie didn't do very well. Which was, I also have a review of that. It's called Death of a Unicorn. But that was a Shudder movie. right? Movie wasn't even supposed to hit the theaters, and the budget's only $7 million, and it made $6.5 million. So usually the rule of thumb is that whatever it makes the first week, it'll double through the rest of its run in the theater. So at 6.5, that thing's going to make 13 million, which is going to be very, very close to double. And if you're using the 2.5 rule of thumb, they're going to make the rest of it on streaming. So, and it won't be much to make. So, and who knows if it blows up internationally? We don't even really know what the international numbers are for Death of a Unicorn. So this one here had a $12 million budget, and it made 9.5. So, and again, I don't know if all the territories have been opened yet and stuff like that. So this movie very well might be. I can tell you, my theater was full. So the theater was full on Thursday when I went, and I didn't even sit in my assigned seat because the entire row was full, and I didn't want to sit. I didn't want to be clumped up. So I just went down one row, and I went to like the handicap row or whatever. So I sat down there. But yeah, just to show you that the theater was kind of full. So good for them. I again, the movie's not bad. It's just not great. And it was starring Danielle Deadwyler. I'm not really too familiar with her. Her big thing was Till, and I didn't see Till, so I can't tell you how her stuff is. But I can tell you that with this movie, her acting was decent. She was acting against the guy from Grimm, Hornsby, Russell Hornsby, and he's generally good, but he had a very, very small role here because he was just in flashbacks. So the general plot was that she had just over the last few weeks had gotten into a car accident, and she has a brace on because she has stitches. Maybe a bone came up out of her leg or whatever, but she has stitches, and so she had to wear. The actress had to wear a brace throughout this entire filming. So even if the filming was a month, wow, that's that was a lot to wear a brace throughout all of it. But it's kind of a little bit of a mind screw movie. So again, we only see Russell Hornsby in these flashbacks, and he does a lot of because it only takes place in a house and on the yard. That's it. It never leaves that area. That's why I'm surprised that the budget is actually as high as it is, because it's extremely contained. You have no name actors in here at all. So the only thing I can think of is that the director took the majority of this money. That's the only thing I think of, and the producers. So anyway, her and her two kids. She has one teenage. The kids are very, very split as far as the ages, but she has like a teenage son, and then she has a very young, like a 6-year-old girl, who is just learning how to write, and she writes her R's backwards, which has some kind of a meaning later on that I didn't understand. Because were the kids even real? I don't know. It kind of alludes to all this weird stuff. But again, the use that they did with the shadows was all good and stuff to that effect. I'm not familiar with the woman that played the woman as well, so I don't. She had a really good look though, but I was unfamiliar with her as well. So the writer here, his name is Sam Stefanik. It's a cool name. And this is really his only thing. He did a thing called F for Family. He was a staff writer on that. And then he was a story editor on a thing called Expanding the Universe of Ashley Garcia. Never heard of it. But that's it. That TV series, the F for Family TV series, is the only thing he's done. Kind of horror is kind of new to him, I believe. So the writing is where I have the biggest fault on, because of the fact that the writing, it left you wanting by the end. You're like, that's it. That's it. So it gives you a twist, which I'm not going to tell you what the twist is. But at one point, she like walks through this tunnel, and she ends up outside the mirror, which I thought was pretty cool because there was no effects or anything like that. But you knew that she went through the mirror, and everything was backwards. Like the clock was backwards, everything was backwards, and I'm like, that's really cool. I really like that. And then they throw it all away. I'm like, they don't commit to the twist at all. They just poof, it's just gone. And I'm like, really, really? And so yeah, it doesn't commit to itself, if that makes any sense. And then the whole lead up to what's going on with her, which is why the woman is there. The whole lead up to that, they get to that point, and then they don't commit to that either. So it's like everything was leading up to this thing where they even show you the future of her decision and stuff to that effect, and it just poof, it's just gone. So they don't commit to anything. Oh, she was in The Woman Who Plays the Woman. Is in 3 episodes of Agatha All Along, which I did not see. She's from Exorcist Believer. She played a doctor in that. She was in Blacklist, 1 episode. So I probably never saw her in anything. None of this stuff is ringing any bells for me. I did see Exorcist, but that's about it. I can't even say her name anyway. I can't even say it. Yeah, Akapawasi. I don't know. Now the kids do a very good job, but they don't really have any chemistry as a family. I didn't really believe that they were a family, if that makes any sense. You really have to have a chemistry. You have to spend some time with people that are supposed to be your family, where you have this recognition and expectations of one another, and I didn't really get that. I really didn't get the fact that they had been a family forever. Like the kids in Superman and Lois, I felt like they were a family. The way that they treated one another and stuff like that. Where here it was a little bit more standoffish, and it came across that way. And families wouldn't be that way. She did get the mom look a couple of times when the kid was acting up, and so there was some standoffs between her son and herself, mostly because he was now the man of the house, and I think it was never told that, but I felt that he felt like he was the one that had to step up since the dad was dead. And because that was the end result of the car crash, which you find out right at the beginning. And so she has this brace on, and he is dead. That's why he only appears in these flashbacks. But anyway, so for me, I like the look and feel of it. I thought the acting was good. It was shot in Georgia, which that's a positive. But I didn't really care for the plot, because there really isn't one. There was no cohesive plot, and every time they tried to make a plot, they would skirt it. They would skirt around it and go back to where they were. And I don't understand it. I don't understand why every time. There was 2 times when they could have given us a plot, and instead, we want to go back to where we started. I don't understand it. So for me, it's going to be a very, very average film, like a 6, 5.5 to 6. And this is one you could catch at home. Unfortunately, I am looking forward to Megan 2, which is also Blumhouse. But this is not one you really need to see in the theater unless you're going to support independent film, or you just want to have a thriller night out And like I said, I'm always going to be there to say, yes, support independent film. So if you have nothing else to do, definitely give your money to an independent film. But Rachel Zegler has now demolished Snow White. Which, that's the other thing. So we have these two independent films that did very well as far as I'm concerned. They're going to break even. Even the Death of a Unicorn that wasn't even supposed to go to the theater. But Snow White is going to lose $300 million. But Disney's not going to stop doing whatever they're doing. They don't care. They've stopped caring about money long ago. Until they're bankrupt, they're just going to keep spending it. But they know that they have Lilo and Stitch is going to make them $1 billion. So they know they're going to make their money back. And then we had the Jason Statham movie that's based on a comic, I believe, by Chuck Dixon, because he's been posting nonstop about it. And that movie beat out Snow White, but that was a $40 million film, and it only made worldwide 30. So as far as I'm concerned, it's $10 million in the hole right now, because it needs to make 40 so that they can double it and make 80, and then they can make the rest on streaming. So we'll see if it has any legs. I've heard mixed reviews on it. Some people said it was good. Some people said it was average. So there's so many other things that I want to see. So if nothing comes out next week, I'll go hit that. But I do want to see this Ash film that I have no idea what Isaac Gonzalez and Aaron Paul in a sci-fi movie. No, absolutely. And it's like $45 million, and there's no marketing. This is the same thing. Nobody's doing any marketing for films anymore. I don't understand it. So I'm very interested to hear from some of these distributors about why they're not marketing anything. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you went to see it, and let me know if you know what the plot was. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. You get notified of my videos. I do things about comics, and I do movies, TV shows, all the rest. And if you want to read anything I've written, go to Amazon.com and type in my name. Awesome. I will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. All right, bye-bye.